I'm continuing my journey to find the best kitchen appliance to help me in my cooking. Today we're going to be looking at Emeril Lagasse's Pressure Air Fryer, not to be confused with Emeril Lagasse's Power Air Fryer 360. That's one I did a review of not too long ago. This is the actual Pressure Air Fryer. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You, and my channel is dedicated to reviewing mostly as seen on TV items. I look at some consumer gadgets, other household items. Once in a while, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I think it's a lot of fun. If that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click that bell so you're notified every time I release a video, just like this one. Now, let's take a look, or a closer look, at Emeril's Pressure Air Fryer. So there are a lot of different varieties of pressure air fryers you can buy, even with the Emeril brand, right? So you can buy all sorts of attachments and all sorts of things. So I just went with a basic one that comes with a 3-quart pot. It has a lid. There's, I guess, a stackable rack for the inside. Of course, it has both exterior lids for the air fryer and the pressure cooker. So mine was about $140. You can spend less than that, and you can spend more than that. That's really up to you. I just want to let you know how much I spent on this item for this review. I will say, after looking through the directions, there are 51 warnings that you need to take a closer look at. So if you do get this product, make sure you look at those warnings, because this product can be dangerous if you do not use it correctly. Just wanted you to know. Let's continue on with the review. All right, so here's the unboxing. The box was just generic. I noticed on top it had a recipe guide with a few things, and it had an owner's manual. And it's important that you read through this pretty clear. All right, so in mine, I came with a lid. I have an air frying lid, right? That's separate. And then I have the pressure cooker and the pressure cooking lid itself. We'll get through some of the process, but to release this, there's a button here that you push from close to open. So when we slide it, watch this, that pops up, and that's what you're going to be looking for when you're cooking, and you're going to slide this over and release. Mine still has the stuff inside. All right, so I have my 3-quart pan. Let's see, in here it has a sheet that says must be removed before cooking, so we'll get rid of that. And then let's move this aside, and I'll show you what my contents came with. All right, so I came with some cooking racks. I have the power cord. I have what looks like a measuring cup, a plastic spatula. Looks like a deep frying rack. My 3-quart pan, and I already showed the cooking rack. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cook a few things, but I just wanted to show you what all these pieces looked like before using them. Before first use, the directions tell us to check the seals, okay? So the rubber gaskets that go around it. We also are supposed to wash all the pieces that we're going to be using with warm soapy water, and that's like the glass lid, that's the 3-quart pot, that's all the different attachments, not the actual lids that work the appliance. So we're going to do that now, and then we're going to check the seals. So let's see how that works. There are a couple things we need to do before we use it first and we prep it. So you notice I've taken the tablecloth off here. I have this sitting on a cutting board just so it won't damage the surface. They do warn not to have it on any cloth, not to have it under a cabinet. Make sure that the surface can take the heat. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we have this condensation collector back here, and this says you're supposed to remove this sticker before first use. Mine happened to come assembled with this already on, but if yours didn't, you just got to make sure you click it to there, okay? Turn this back around. Now on our actual pressure cooking lid, there's this part here. We're supposed to take this off and then tear this thing off. So now that released the lid. So we took those pieces off. So to prepare this for first use, we have to run it through a cycle. It's a canning cycle. So what I'm going to do is, it's on a clean flat surface. I've already assembled my lid. This is 2 cups of water. Anytime you pressure cook with this, you're going to have to use some sort of liquid. So this one just calls for 2 cups of water. My lid came pre-assembled, okay? So if yours didn't, it might look something like this. And then you're supposed to just assemble this on, make sure that goes through that gasket, okay? So I'm just going to stick this on there for now. I'm supposed to get my plug out and ready. All right, so I've got my plug and plugging it on the side here. It's plugged in, and now that it's plugged in, it immediately sets up here. Okay, so I've got some dots across the top. So what I'm end up going to do is I need to go to the canning cycle. Okay. I had already pressed canning. Now I want to push this button in to say it's okay. All right, so it says it right now 1 hour. If I scroll to the right, it'll say 2 hours on the long cycle, but I only want it 10 minutes, and that's the short cycle. So if I click this button in the middle, it's going to tell me that I need to put my lid closed. So let's do that. Okay, closing the lid. Just like that. Now, this orange color here shows us that it's heating up. When it turns red is when we know that it's pressure cooking, and we're not to interrupt it during this entire process. In about 10 minutes, once this is heated up, this will be done. And then we're going to show you how to eject and cool the unit. All right, so it took a total of 10 minutes just to heat up for this 10-minute run. So now this is red. And like I said before, the directions say do not interfere while it's orange or red. We're going to wait till this is the end. I just wanted to show you how long it took. So during this initial first 10 minutes, I noticed water and steam coming out of there. Not sure if that's normal, but I'm getting the pot lid all wet. So I just wanted to show you that. The cycle just ended, and you can hear the beeping, right? So down here is a button that says keep warm, and it has a cancel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click cancel, which turns this from red to blue. Now what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to release this valve. I'm going to watch out for this hole here and that one there. So I'm just going to hit release, see what happens. All right, so the pressure has released. There's still some steam coming out of here, and now there's some coming out of here. So we're just going to let it set for a minute, okay? Because there's no need to rush this. I want to make sure this thing has released its heat. Release the pressure, and then we can open it up. We'll rinse this out and do our very first cook of the day. I would love to hear from you. Do you have your own pressure cooker? Does it have an air fryer lid attached too? Do you have this product? Let me know down in the comment section below. What do you think? Is it awesome or not? One thing I love cooking is bacon, but I can never get it right. Or it splatters all over the house, or it makes it stink. Let's see if this thing can cook some really good bacon like Emeril said it does. In order to prepare our bacon for air frying, I've got my rack set up here, and we're supposed to be able to just drape the bacon over. The problem is, if you don't go 2 or more, your bacon's going to touch, and that doesn't make any sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep this by putting a few pieces on, and then I'll stick it in the air fryer and use the air fryer mode. But this is small bacon. I had to go over, so it might limit the amount of bacon we're able to do at one time. So I was able to get about half the pack of bacon on this rack, which is not terribly efficient, right? I'd like to cook more bacon than this, but here I go. I'm going to put it in, and now I'm going to use it as my air fryer. Grab my air fryer lid, and this goes on a little differently than the other one. This one we just set on, and it clips in. You hear how it beeped? So we're going to turn to air fry mode. We're in air fryer mode. I already pressed that. This is going to be a custom, so we're going to run it for about 15 minutes at 370. So let's hit start and see what happens. Turns red, let's leave it alone. We'll check back in when it's done to see if our bacon is cooked. This has been going for 15 minutes, so I'm going to turn it off. The timer stopped. It didn't beep or anything. It just stopped calculating. So I'm going to take the lid off. And let's take a look at what this bacon looks like. It looks a little over than I normally would like. Well, that's what the bacon looks like. Some might like it cooked like that. Pretty good. I just wanted to show the oil that's in there. This all cooked off the bacon and went to the bottom of the pan. So for those of you that are health conscious, you are not eating that bacon grease. Now, for those of you guys that like this, you can use this to cook something else with. Pretty cool. I'm a smoker. Not that kind of smoker. I love to smoke meat. It's something that my brother and I like to hang out and throw some ribs on or throw some pork belly on. We love to smoke meat. So let's see if this pressure air fryer can make ribs just like I make them on the smoker. So as I start cooking these ribs, I have about a cup of beef broth in there. It's just something I was reading about that some recipes have called for beef broth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be putting the ribs that I have cut up. They've been seasoned. I'm just going to be putting these inside the pressure chamber there. Now I'm going to get my lid. Open position. Push to close. Push the pressure button here. So you can't see on the screen here, but I have a lot of different choices, and I'm going to toggle down to pork. When I click pork, it has default 30 minutes. So I'm going to hit the button because that's exactly how long I'm supposed to be able to cook these ribs for. So let's let it cook. One more time. There it goes. So let's check back in a little while to see how our ribs did. The first few minutes of your cook cycle, you may notice something that looks like this. This is normal. Don't be afraid. Don't take cover. All right, so it just beeped. It's done. Now what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to hit cancel to turn it off and then let it sit for 20 minutes. What they're saying is it's going to release the pressure over about 20 minutes. So we're just going to let it sit and we'll check back in at that time. So it's been 20 minutes. The pressure has come out, but now we still have to release it here. Pulling this down to the open position. What we're going to end up doing, this cook is ended, so we want to now turn over to the air fryer portion to make them crispy. Here is what they look like, just being cooked by the pressure cooker. We're going to end up putting these underneath the air fryer to get them crispy. Emeril says these are good to go for most pressure cookers, but not for his. He likes his air fried. So let's do that next. So now we are taking one of the pieces of the ribs and we're going to put it through the air fryer. So let me get the lid and it just snaps down just like that. And so I'm going to select the air fryer mode on here and go to a custom setting. We're going to air fry for about 5 minutes. So here we go. It's been 5 minutes. So let's pop this out. Ooh, you can already tell that looks a whole lot crispier. Now what we'll do is we're going to take it and flip it. And we're going to put it back in for another 5 minutes on this side. And when it's done, we'll have some nice crispy ribs. There we go. Hooked it right back up and it's ready to go. Check out how these are just fall off the bone ribs. Watch this. Oh yeah. Nice and juicy and crispy and delicious. Now I'm hungry for some burgers. Can we really cook a burger on this thing? I hope so. Let's check it out. I have 2 burgers in here on the upper rack. We're going to air fry them, and I'm going to show you in just a second how to do the settings with the air fryer. But I felt like I'm only going to try 2. I think it'll take about 15 minutes to cook, and I'll have to flip them in the middle. But I just wanted to show you what it looked like here. Now let's go do the settings. Before we continue, we'll put the lid on. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to air fry. I am going to do custom just because, well, it's custom. So I'm going to come down here for my temperature. I'm going to probably make this around, well, 365 is fine. Timer, I'm going to leave it on 15 minutes. So I'm going to check it a few times during this, but I think about the 7-minute mark, I'm going to flip him. So let's give him an air fry. The timer just clicked 7 minutes. So let's flip these things over. Take a look at them. Look like they're starting to cook or cooking. So let's flip them. So that's still not cooked on the bottom. I guess that's expected though. It's pretty hard to flip them. I guess the spatula they brought or they sent with it might have been more appropriate because it is smaller, but all right, so let's put this back on, let it cook for the next 7 minutes. Okay, so I think we are all done. Let's pop the lid off. Put this aside. All right. That's what the burger looks like. I'm going to cut it right in half. 15 minutes. Oh, it's tough. It cooked it pretty thoroughly, though. All right, so 15 minutes, cooked a nice, juicy hamburger. Wow. I did a lot of cooking with this product. You know what? And it did an okay job. I will say, cleanup is a beast. Every time oil got into it or when I cooked the burgers, I mean, I was scrubbing that pot just to get it clean. That's something you should know. The ribs, this is what I really want to talk about because that's the real part I use, the pressure cooker part. Honestly, they were okay. And I just say okay. They weren't that great. When I cook them out on the smoker, they're phenomenal and I just love them. I can't get enough of them. These ones were like, it's okay. That could be just my preference, but I wanted you to know. So the bacon part, I did put it in for about 15 minutes, which might be too long. If you like yours a little less crispy, I'd cut a few minutes off, but it cooked it really well. My wife loved it, and she loves crispy bacon. The burgers were cooked to perfection as well. I look forward to using this pressure air fryer on different things. I'm even thinking about putting out a video trying to do one of his recipes because they are complicated. Anyway, if I were to do a buy or deny, I would say if this is something you're looking for and you want a pressure cooker with an air fryer, this is just as good as any of the other ones. The only thing I don't really like about it, I don't like that there's 2 lids because I can put one appliance somewhere and leave it, but where am I going to put this other lid? That's just a weird thing for me. Anyway, this was Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day. Thanks for sticking around for my entire review of Emeril Lagasse's Pressure Air Fryer. It's a pretty sweet device. Not that long ago, I did a little review of an as-seen on TV product called the World's Greatest Cooking Pot. It's just like this little tiny pot that has a colander attached. Anyway, I would love it if you would click on the link up here because I'm going to post that video. Go check it out. Let me know if you think that's really the world's greatest cooking pot or a dud. Spoiler alert. I'm not sure I liked it. Click this link, check it out. I'll see you there.